Hi everyone. What is a protest? What is a poster on protest? I have here a book called "Protest: The Aesthetic of Resistance" from Lars Müller publisher, and with two beautiful. Many beautiful images, but this one is very special. You can tell. One from Pierre Mendel, the bread, share, and then the other one, about Amnesty International from Timo Berry, about freedom of speech. I think it's important that we learn to speak. Important to speak, important to express ourselves visually. This is a series of photographies about protest from Tina Metzler, and I like this one because we are, in the midst of the virus. This is a pre-virus book, and but I like this one. It reminds me about what's going on. So I want to meet someone in another country who's making an action with posters. He has called different poster designer in Switzerland, in Basel, to make a campaign about the coronavirus. So let's talk with him. Okay, Jean-Jacques Schaffner, thank you for your time. You are in Switzerland. I'm in San Francisco. You're the founder of quite a big advertising agency. You've been active since over 40 years. And then you just sold it. And I guess you had to reopen a new one because you cannot stop. We know that in our business. And you work still with your partner, Silvana Conselman. So you do everything in your agency, from strategy to very smaller things like rebranding, etc. But you have done something that is really interesting about the coronavirus, and I wonder why. How was the effect on advertising and agencies from the coronavirus to your agency and to the work? What happened?
Yes, the reason why I started, I had two things which I was very surprised. The first thing is that the advertising from the government was so ugly. I couldn't believe that somebody in Switzerland, living in Switzerland, which is the country of graphic design, has decided to do something like, something like this.
Yeah, let me show it. Actually, I have it here.
Yeah. And this is the one on the left side is the one from the federal government of Switzerland, and the right side is the really stupid thing from the region area of Basel. And when I have seen that, I just said, why does they didn't recognize that communication is in this situation a key item, and you have to convince people and not to give them orders. And even it was even in language. They just spoke with us like we've been children, Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
then the other thing was that the agencies, they just stopped working all over Switzerland. I mean, they just stopped. They closed agencies for weeks. They didn't recognize that this is the moment for agencies to declare communication to the most important thing.
Yeah.
All those failures of those specialists and doctors, they had a big voice in Switzerland, but communication was just zero from the side of agencies and from the side of governments. And then I said, we must do something. That was the initial idea.
So, and this something was that you sort of launched a call for posters, right? And then in connection with a newspaper, a local newspaper.
Yeah. And sorry, I just called them because I said, yeah, the chief journalist on this newspaper, I just said, listen, this is my idea. Give me just a newspaper ad to have a call for entries. And the idea was that everybody who is designer could express his ideas on coronavirus, whether it is something like a warning poster or a motivation or an emotional poster. It was totally free. And some of big agencies in Switzerland complained a lot because they said, this is not the specific briefing we are used to have. And then I said, no, but this is exactly the thing I want. Give me your ideas. And after a week, we had several entries, and it started to be a real avalanche, because at the end we had that many posters that the newspaper said, stop, stop, stop. We cannot print the more than 200 posters in our newspaper. I mean, we can't fill every day another page, but at the end they have shown more than 100 posters in the newspaper, which is a daily newspaper.
So let me show you what we have in San Francisco. So we have stuff like that. When we were talking about what is the official language, our official language was kind of blue, and that's what we had. And it was what you were actually fighting, which is the sort of order kind of language.
Yeah.
And I want to show you a little bit also the reaction. So you see, I don't know if you have those kind of situation of entrance of a store in San Francisco, or you do in Basel. So you do, like, it's over everywhere, so you don't almost know where to look. And then there is the contra expression, which is quite interesting. We have our little bear with honey, and we have how can you kiss with the mask, and I like that very much, this little black and white poster. And this is also maybe a reaction against the government, so they all have another disease, chicken pox, etc. And just to show you, we are not as organized as you guys are in Basel, but this is Basel. So here you are now, and you have suddenly. So what are those posters doing in the street? And my question is also, do you think you can change anything with a nice poster?
Yeah, the answer is that when some organizations and companies discovered that we had such a success with this Corona theme, they called me, and one of the most important channel, the poster distributor was Clear Channel. They called me and they said, okay, I will spend you 100,000 Swiss francs, which is $110,000. And we will give you for 300 posters all over the area, free hanging fee.
Yeah.
So what we did basically is that we combined always 3 posters together, and they hanging now everywhere like a gallery. And when we started this action, we had a contact to the garbage company, and they said, okay, this is a good idea. May we give you the garbage trucks, and you might hang on all garbage trucks in the area, the posters as well. And the next call was from the poster collection of Switzerland, and they called me and said, can we participate with the poster exposition? Because we have seen that many different ideas on the theme of Corona, that we will be ready to pay everything around it. So actually, we have other newspaper coming up, calling, and the Swiss newspapers, and even universities from foreigner states like in Holland, Maastricht, they called me. What the hell have you done that so many designers did for free such a nice work? And this is something which is very interesting. I think that designers are not aware of the impact of good posters, because we have a poster tradition. This is different probably in San Francisco, but we have a poster tradition, and we still have a lot of poster places. This is, by the way, the garbage truck.
Yeah.
So all garbage trucks in the city are now full of Corona posters.
Wow.
And then we said, okay, because there are places all over the area, on 100 different places, and we couldn't find them. So we called for action. That we said, if you see a poster, please send us a photograph by iPhone. And what we actually have is that we have an Instagram account, and people are setting up all the posters they have discovered in the area.
Oh, okay.
And this is a growing thing. And I think that the problem of designers is that they themselves, they don't believe that they have an impact, but they still have. This experience is, even for me, something really unexpected. And everybody's talking about it. We have mails the whole day, people calling me, giving answers. And what you can see on these posters is that all the graphic styles they use, some of them working with typography, some of them with illustration, others with graphics, you know. And this is even showing the broad variety of graphic styles. And it is a good experience to show how important communication is in these times.
Yeah, it's really nice. So you have the feeling, because that's how we started this discussion. It is that I want to repeat that you have the feeling the government, or the official voice, was sort of too stiff, and you wanted still to talk about the virus, make the people sensitive about it, not against it, but just sensitive about it. And then at the same time, so you made this campaign, which I guess, because many places, also many posters, stands were empty, right? There was less advertising. So everyone played the game. And now you have a very nice reaction, visual reaction in the city. But don't you think the people are a little bit fed up with the virus? I mean,
if we would bet only on information and orders, I think people doesn't want to be informed in the sense of do this and do this. But we have a verb, a saying in Switzerland, or even in France, especially, saying it's the sound who makes the music. And the Swiss are highly motivated to respect orders, but not if you say them, it is an order. You know, we are Swiss. We are highly democratic, and it is a really dangerous situation actually in Switzerland that the political issue against the government is getting bigger every day, because the democratic system says that we have to vote if we want something. And in this situation, the Swiss government decided that there is no vote, there is no decision, but we are respecting all rules, but not if we have orders. And the interesting thing is that people saying, yeah, if you tell me this, in this design, I'm, you know, more motivated to accept the order. It's the sound who makes the music. And that this is my issue, to explain that design might give you, you know, a bad pill in a better way. You know, if you have to get your medicine, sometimes you give a syrup with. And the design is kind of the syrup, you know. So that's my idea.
Let's look. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful idea. So let's look. This is online. Do you see that? If I move them, I want you to have, just for fun, a little bit your impression, not judgment, but just impression of a few posters. I mean, they are like, I will also paste this website there. This is the inside of the magazine. So this one says everything goes well, and this one.
And this is a very interesting poster. You know, Knigge has been in the 18th century the ruler of good behavior. This is Baron from Knigge. And Baron from Knigge declared that everything has been in rules. The way you eat, the way you walk the stairs up and everything. This is Mr. Knigge. And they just show the mask and saying, this is the new Knigge. And if you know the story, this is very funny. Graphically, I don't want to judge it. But the idea behind is to say, okay, in the 18th century, we needed to have the good manners, you know, but actually we have other good manners to mask yourself. This is why these ideas are very different, and it has nothing to do whether I like the graphic design or not. I just stepped back as a graphic designer. Even if these posters are all designed by graphic designers, I'm not going to judge them. And this is just plug off, you know. The virus says that plug off the world. The lockdown is just like the button, and then you plug off the world. It's very simple. And this is just, it means in German, this is a German meaning. Abstand means distance, and Anstand means behavior. It's a word, it's kind of a typographical game. Just because of this little virus in the center, you need the Abstand.
So those posters are not only, it's very interesting because those posters are not specially all protesting or asking a question or putting the communication of the government in question. They also are posters who are telling in another way to the people, be careful. I mean, it is not always a critical poster of what's going on. It is also, but not only, right?
Yeah. That's it, exactly. This is just keep distance, which means the distance shown as a typographical form, you know? It is in a way a good idea, as simple as it is. Because they just, and this is another poster saying, the only thing is number one against Corona is the soap. And I know this because I was involved in this creative, because it's a girl who did an apprenticeship. And I said, this is a pretty good idea because it goes back in the 30s of the Swiss graphic style. And she said, okay, let's use a specific graphic style which is well known in the world, like Nikolaus Stöcklin and others. And it's kind of a copy, you know, it's kind of a style she wanted to say. But now, today is number one in against Corona. And in the 30s, the same poster was number one in soap.
Yeah. There is this one, which is cute. There is the home. So those ones are more like saying in another way, this is funny. This one is really funny.
Yeah.
It's made with toilet paper. I think there was a big issue there too with toilet paper.
Yeah, the issue is that nobody knows why. In Europe, everybody for weeks went into the stores and it was toilet paper was sold out all over Europe.
Here too.
Yeah. If you go back in another one, I just wanted to say, good idea. If you go another one back, look at that. The next one. The COVID-19, and what he is mentioning, we are able to control whether there is a COVID-20, a COVID-21, or a COVID-22. And it just says it's in your hands. And these are good ideas, you know, intellectually, because not only saying don't do that, the saying is we have it in our hands. This is a very good thing. So all these ideas are showing how creative you can be in communication, because it's really a pity how government, especially in Europe, are treating consumers. I think we are not stupid at all, and sometimes we've been treated like children.
So you are now in the bridge of stopping, right? So things have stopped. Where I am right now, we are still at home. There has been different situation. I think France was extremely tough. You had to print out a paper to go out saying, you know, where you were going. here in California, we can go out, move around a little bit more easily. You in Basel, you're reopening. I heard that they were people were really eager to go out.
Yeah.
And you're going to show those posters somewhere
Yeah.
very soon.
Yeah,
Again.
it is that we have a graphic museum, a very small one in the center of the city. And they called me and they said, would you be ready to give us a 50 posters because there's not that much space? And I said, yes, we will. And then we went to the government saying, might we do that? I mean, in fact, we shouldn't. And then they say, no, you just have to mention on the invitation that there are posters, but you cannot say opening. And then we said, okay, we said from 6 o'clock, the 4th of June, there are posters. And then they said, if you don't, in fact, if there are more than 30 people, you will be in trouble. And as you asked us, as government, we are coming controlling with police. And then we said, just do. I know that we will have more than 100 people coming, but who cares? We do it anyway, because we then say, okay, people is just staying in the street and nobody knows how exactly who is going into the museum or not. But we have to respect some rules, hand cleaning and closed toilets and all those. And we need to have a guard who is controlling how many people is in the rooms. But in fact, if you tell there is a vernissage, you can be punished. You can get a fine.
Huh. And do you still have to wear the mask and everything?
No, there is no need to do that, but there is a suggestion to do that.
Oh, okay. So
but
it's
not,
very vague.
you will not, yeah. Yeah, there is just a suggestion. And this is, by the way, the invitation.
Yeah.
And we created a poster for the invitation and it's hanging everywhere. So we send it 2,000 invitations to everybody. It's not an invitation. It's just mentioning that the exhibition is open.
on the 4th, right? On
yeah.
4th, or yeah.
On the 4th, yeah, on 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, well, it's great.
Yeah, it's very funny. And the 6th, we invite the press on the 6th, 2 days later.
Okay.
We will see.
I have a last question that has not really to do with virus and everything, but something else, because you've been so long in the advertising. And if we look at those posters, you know, Basel is a Swiss-German town, and many of them are in English. What is the connection between Switzerland and English speaking, or do people like to speak English there, or why often in advertising, even in Switzerland, we have a slogan in English?
Yeah, I can explain it. It's very, very stupid. The thing is that we have 4 languages in Switzerland. And none of Swiss people, except me or some others, are understanding very well other languages. So either you put 3 slogans or 4 slogans on a poster, or you use English. So most of advertising people decide not to have 3 or 4 headlines on a poster.
Oh, okay.
So they replace the 4 languages in English. And this is even most in packaging design, in advertising. But I must say that we have just shown those in English. We have a lot even in Swiss German, but we knew that when we are going to do an exposition, nobody will understand Swiss German. Might be, but not all.
No, but it came spontaneously from the visual designer. I mean, you didn't ask for it; it came like that. But that's very interesting.
But this is the reason. This is the reason. If you do something in the French part of Switzerland, they won't read something in German. I mean, these borders are bigger than the borders to Germany. You know.
I know.
But this is our culture, and it's funny anyway. I mean, we have posters written in Swiss German even, And we have some in French, we have some, but we have shown those who are explainable to other countries. And this is probably best with the English.
Okay, very, very interesting. So thank you. I understand that, you know, I've been in Basel over 20 years. So I know that you guys have a saying, Basel, which Basel tickt anders. And I feel a little bit like this too in San Francisco. San Francisco is a special town. Do you think your action came in Basel by chance? I mean, you are the initiator, but have you seen something else like this in Switzerland, in another place in Switzerland?
No, we can say frankly, nothing happened, but it is the art scene in Switzerland is paralyzed. We will not have theaters till end of this year. Can you imagine? No ballet, no orchestra. And this scene is, even the artists, the gallery, art museums, they are paralyzed. They are unable to think normally. I've spoken with museum directors. They cannot think longer than 2 weeks. They're just paralyzed. And actually, we are working on a new poster series for jazz, and they have canceled all concerts. They're just starting up with little combos and everything, but they are just you know, it's an anxiety they have. It's like, oh, what is going on? And they are, most of them, in financial trouble. This is for Switzerland something unthinkable, that we have financial problems. But 30% of artists are bankrupt, and another 30% are in big problems. And I think this is the problem, that they don't know what they should do. And with this call for entry, it was kind of, you know, a place to go, you know, and a place to show. But we had in the music scene, pop and rock scene, we had something like concerts on iPhones, you know, and all these things. But it wasn't really welcome. Even singing on the terrace, people complained because of the noise. It wasn't like in Italy. But it is the art scene is really paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay, what's going on? In fact, in Switzerland, we had not really big problems. But we've been shocked.
Yeah.
You know, the lockdown was kind of 100% undemocratic thing, but we accepted that. But the shock is still remaining here.
Yeah.
And this is, I'm not happy at all that the designers didn't came out and saying, we need to have a better communication. Please do it, you know. And
Yeah.
I think this is something which is probably now coming out. It's a good discussion for the next next year.
You did something fantastic. Now, at least sort of a creative voice came out in the streets,
Yeah.
And that's why I contacted you. It's amazing. So good luck and all the best for you there.
Thank you so much.
Good start of this. It's not an it's an exhibition, but you know
everything. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling me.